Okay, so we are starting with the next passage. So this passage is a little bit lengthy, but we will try to make sure that we are able to take the main argument of the passage from paragraph 1. So it starts with oftentimes when economists cross borders, they are less interested in learning from others than as compared to in invading their garden plots. So Gary Becker, for instance, pioneered the idea of human capital. So we are talking about one economist. His name is Gary Becker, and with the example of this particular economics, the author is trying to tell us that he famously tackled topics like crime, domesticity, applying methods honed in the study of markets to domains of non-market life. Okay, now what happens? He pioneered the idea of human capital first. He tackled these kind of topics. He projected economics outward into new realms because he was interested in these new fields. For example, to extent to which humans calculate marginal utilities when choosing their spouses or stealing from neighbors. At the same time, he did not let other ways of thinking enter his own economic realm. For example, he did not borrow from anthropology or history or let observation of non-market economics inform his Homo economicus. Okay, so what happens? Bacon portrayed a picture of. Bacon was a picture of means he portrayed a person or economics who was deeply rooted into imperial economics thought in the heyday of the disciplines bravura. Now, when I come to this paragraph, I have a lot of characteristics of Gary Becker, and the major characteristics, if I have to go for, was that he was actually representing this imperial economist approach, wherein they tried their level best and they went for new realms or new fields. Okay, but at the same time they were having this choice that they did not let other ways of thinking enter his own economic realm, did not borrow from anthropology or any other field, right? So when I talk about this paragraph, this gives me the main argument of the passage, because we are talking about how one economist is approaching with his own thought process, and he is not allowing other things or other fields to interact within his study. Okay, so this reflects imperial attitude in economics and their methods they are applying without allowing external perspective to challenge and inform their own economic theories. Coming to the next para, now the times have changed. So from Becker, we are coming to the new economist. Okay, and this economist is Thomas Piketty. And the times have changed for once almighty discipline. Okay, so once who were thinking them very very almighty, now times have changed for those, because you have good economists in the sense that they have reached out, imported, borrowed, collaborated, being less imperial, more open, and they have given example of this, his outreach to historians for the booming field of behavioral economics. Okay, so what is this behavioral economics? Wherein you have a fusion of economics and social psychology. And this is another case having spawned active subfields like judgment, decision making, and a turn to experimentation. The fields aim to go beyond caricature of rational man or logical man to explain how humans make decisions. Okay, so now he is getting benefit from all these encroachment into other fields and approaching to the historians. He is not like Gary Becker. Now coming to third paragraph. It is important to underscore how this flip the way we think about economics. So for generations, we presume that people have interest. You can call them preferences. In the neoclassical argot that get revealed in the course of people's choices. Interests come before actions and determine them. If you are hungry, you buy a lunch. If you're cold, you get a sweater. If you only have so much money, you can't afford to deal with both your growling stomach and your shivering. You will need to choose between two, and this thing, means you choose to meet using your scarce savings, reveals your preference, means what choice you will make. So your condition decides what choice you make. So your interest comes before the actions and determines them. Okay, now coming to the next paragraph. You got psychologists take one look at this simple formulation and shake their heads. Increasingly, even some mainstream economists have to admit that Homo economicus, this is a name given by the author, as in Homo sapiens, so it is like Homo economicus, doesn't always behave like the textbook maximizer. Irrational behavior can't simply be waved away as extra economic expressions of passion over interest. See, irrational behavior, which is not logical behavior, can't simply be waved away as extra economic expression of passions over interest, and thus the domain of other disciplines. Right? This is one place where humanists can help the economist. How humanists can help the economist? So the author has given the answer. If the narrative economics is going to help us understand how rivals duke it out, who wins, who loses, we are going to need much more than lessons from epidemiological studies of viruses and intracranial stimuli. Okay, so it means that the author is giving you that we have to learn a lot more than this thing. He is just using an exaggeration of the situation. Okay, that okay, we have to learn, need more about what, more than this and more than this. Viruses and these studies, we have to learn more. And above all, he is also talking about politics and institutions, and then he is mentioning a Nobel Prize winner, Schiller. Okay, and he is doing something which is different. He connects perceptions of narratives to changes in behavior and then to social outcomes. So he completes a circle that was a key to behavioral economics and brings in storytelling to make sense of how perceptions get framed. Now, this cycle or perception behavior to society was once meditated or dominated by institutions, the political parties, lobby groups, and media organizations. And they played a very vital role, a very good role in legitimizing, representing, excluding interest. Okay, so these institutions been yet have been stripped from Schiller's account to reveal a bare dynamic of emotions and economics without intermediating place of politics. So we are talking about influence of politics here. We are talking about how psychologists want us to see things. Means you have to go beyond some limitations and do the study. Okay, so when I talk about the main argument, we are actually talking about how economics is getting evolved from Becker to Thomas, contrasting the imperial, isolated approach of economists who, like Becker, who applied economic methods to non-market domains without incorporating insights from other fields. And then we talk about Thomas, and the rise of behavioral economics reflect a shift towards collaboration with other disciplines such as psychology and history to better understand human behavior and decision making. So the passage argues in order to truly understand behavior of the society, societal behavior, economics must also consider politics and institutions, just not emotions and economic incentives. So let's start with the questions. The questions are a bit easy to take away from the passage. See, first question is very easy. When you talk about first paragraph, the author is making the point that economists like Becker. Okay, so when I come to this particular question, this is the part from the passage, first paragraph. So first line is they are less interested in learning from others. Okay, and Gary Becker, for instance, then applying methods honed in the study of markets to domain of non-market life, projected economics, or we have discussed already this thing. So I have highlighted the main points. At the same time, we did not let other ways of thinking enter. So you can see these are the characteristics of Becker, and you have to just match it with the given points. Okay, so let's start one by one. Tended to guard their discipline from poaching by academics from other subject areas. So Becker was not guarding anything. When economists cross border, they are less interested in learning from others than as compared to in invading their garden plots. Okay, so they are not guarding anything. So I have to eliminate this one. Benefited from the application of their principles and concepts to non-economic phenomena. Now the thing is, he famously tackled topics like crime and domesticity, right? And he applied methods honed in his study of markets to domain like non-market life, projected economics outward into new realms. So everything is given, but the author question is saying author is making point that economists like Becker, what they do, this point that what he has done, his complete history or his famous, why he was famous, he is like we are just giving the important points like about Gary Becker, important characteristics, which is not the main point made by author in the first paragraph. It is mentioned, I can say this is mentioned, but this is not the main point. It can be an extra information regarding Becker. Next, use economics to analyze non-market behavior. Yes, without incorporating perspectives from other areas of inquiry. So I can take it like he is not taking help from anyone, and it is like at the same time he's not let other ways of thinking enter his own economic realm. So I can take this one. This is mentioned and this is not given. Had begun to borrow concepts from other disciplines but were averse to the later applying economic principles. Now he has not borrowed any concepts from other disciplines. It is opposite of what given in the passage. So I have to eliminate this. Okay. So answer becomes option number 3. Question number 10. Question number 10 says, times have changed for the once almighty discipline. We can infer from this statement and the associated paragraph that the author is being what? So this particular statement is given in the first paragraph. You can say at the first paragraph you get the glimpse of this particular statement, and directly you can see the statement times have changed from the once almighty discipline. Okay. Now, what happens when you come to first paragraph? You see Becker was a picture of imperialist economist, the heyday of disciplines bravo. So, when you talk about this imperial economist approach, okay, in para 2, starting line says you times have changed for once almighty discipline, means they are talking about the same approach. Got it? Now what happens? We can infer from this statement and the associated paragraph that the author is being what? Author is being what? Author is giving a sarcastic comment. Economics has been taken to task within and beyond its ramparts. Some economists have reached out and then being less empirical. See. And the last line, rational men to explain how humans make decisions. The field aims to go beyond the caricature of rational, logical men to explain how humans make decisions. So, now he is being sarcastic. So, we have the 4 options. Let's start. Disparaging of economics' inability to precisely predict market behavior and are now borrowing from other disciplines to remedy this. See, it is not somebody's inability, because before para 2, when I talk about para 1, we are having very good things about Becker and his successful career. So we cannot say that about disparaging of any economist inability. So I have to eliminate this, not matching with the passage. Yes, as we discussed, sarcastic about how economists who really earlier shunned other disciplines are now beginning to incorporate them in their analysis. Yes. So the author is being sarcastic, yes, about how economists who earlier shunned other disciplines, means Gary Becker, are now beginning to incorporate them in their analysis, right? So Thomas Piketty is another economist only, so he is more open to other things, so we can take this one. Yes, then critical of economists openly borrowing and collaborating across disciplines. Now author is not critical or being judgmental about all these things. He is not judging anyone, he is just saying the shift or the transition of the thinking. Judgmental about ability of economic tools, which is not mentioned in any of the paragraph, right? So we cannot take option number 4. We cannot take 3, 1. Our answer becomes option number 2. Coming to the next paragraph. See, the author critiques Schiller's approach to behavioral economics for. Now, what happens? Author is giving the name of Schiller in the last paragraph. Above all, we need politics and institutions. So, this economics connects perception of narratives to changes in behavior. Okay, so this perception of narratives to changes in behavior and then to social outcomes. So, he completes a circle, and this was a key to behavioral economics and brings in storytelling to make sense of how perceptions get framed. Okay, let's understand this like a story. Okay, so he is giving you some perceptions of narrative to changes in behavior, and then he is going for some social outcomes, and he is completing a circle, and then this particular circle which he completes was the major key, or you can say the major outcome for behavioral economics, and brings in storytelling to make sense how perceptions get framed. Even economics can uh, provide you with perception to behavior to society. For example, if you have perception about something, okay, that you should behave in a hotel or any public place, then you will behave in that way. That will go to the society. Okay, once meditated or dominated by institutions, and what this was dominated by institutions, political parties, lobby groups, media organizations, which played a vital role in what? In legitimizing, making it legal, representing, and excluding interest. Yet institutions have been strived from Schiller's account to reveal a bare dynamic of emotions and economics without intermediating place of politics. Okay, so when I come to this, author critics Schiller's approach. Now, critics means what he is portraying, what he is judging his Schiller's approach to behavioral economics for, relying excessively on storytelling. So, he is going for storytelling, okay, and brings in a storytelling. Okay, now we cannot say relies excessively, it's a very strong word. Fine, so it is not mentioned here, so we have to eliminate this. Second, denigrating the role of institution while creating a link between behavioral economics and perceptions. So we are not denigrating the role of institutions. We are also talking about politicians and other entities, lobby groups, media organizations. We are not denigrating anyone. Then linking emotions and rational behavior without considering the mediation of social institutions. So yes, we have emotions, we have to reveal a bare dynamic emotions, we are linking emotion and rational behavior. Yes, we are linking emotion and without intermediating place of politics, without considering meditation of social institutions. So politics and politics is a kind of social institution. Secondly, when I talk about rational behavior, linking emotions and rational behavior. So you see, when you come to this one, line number 3, a circle that was key to behavioral economics and brings in storytelling, make sense of how perception gets framed. When this logical thing is coming here, and then the cycle completes once meditated dominated with these groups. It played a vital role in what? Vital role in legitimizing these interests, and Schiller's account to reveal bare dynamic of emotion and economics means this he's moving more towards the logical or the rational approach. So we can take option number 3. Ignoring marginal role of media and politics play influencing people's behavior. So first thing is they people have not given any marginal role. Marginal role is something opposite to what is given because they played a vital role, so I cannot take marginal role. So my answer becomes option number 3, not 4. Fine. Let's come to the Next question, question number 12. So the author is using the term Homo economicus, and you can see from para number 3 he started using this term. From generations, economists have presumed the people have interests and preferences. Okay, and then the lunch and sweater example as we discussed there. So this is about revelation of the course of people's choices or interest or preferences. Para number 4 from the passage you see Homo economicus doesn't always behave like the textbook maximizer, and this irrational behavior can't simply be waved away as extra economic expressions of passion over interest. So, when I come to paragraph number 2, you see this rationality or the Homo economicus is shown a rational man. Last sentence of the para 2 gives you the glimpse. The field aims to go beyond the caricature of rational man, means whatever the image making of rational man, the economists have their mind to explain how humans make decisions. Okay, so you have to go beyond the limits to go for the rational man, and then you talk about choices of people, and then you go for what? Then you talk about Homo economicus, who doesn't always behave like a textbook maximizer. Fine. So Homo economicus is referring to someone who what? Who makes rational decision based on their own preferences, is not influenced by preferences and choices of others, maximizes their opportunities based on non-market choices, behaves in borrowing, collaborating with other disciplines in their work. Now see, when I talk about these options, it is very clear that when you say is not influenced by preferences and choices of others. Okay, so revealed in the course of people's choices and preferences. So this particular para number 3 makes it incorrect. Maximizes their opportunities based on non-market choices. So how they maximize their opportunity based on non-market choices? So it is not mentioned they are maximizing their opportunities, right? Don't behave like textbook maximizer. So you can take from here, because it is not by opportunities based on non-market choices. Okay, mainstream economists have to admit that these Homo economicus is someone who does not always behave like textbook maximizer. Got it? Now you have third one and the first one. Yes, you can take rational decision based on their preferences. Preferences are given, and yes, they make rational decisions, because we are talking about someone who is going beyond this, because they choose using scar saving reveals your preference. So they have a logical thing that what they can bear. Okay, and passion over interest. So it is very rational, as you can see. So you can go for option number 1. In case of 4 believes in borrowing, collaborating, this is not mentioned. So I have to take option 1. Fine. Okay. Now